who that could be.
How's it going, Bill and Ted? Ted, it's us again.
Hello and welcome, fellow film buffs. I'm Zach Droll, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow cinephile, Hunter Zack.
Most excellent.
We are the box office losers. Each and every week, we deep dive into the movie sphere and watch and review any and all films to ever grace the silver screen. This week, we are talking about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Bogus.
God damn it.
Don't say God damn it. This is a good movie. It wasn't as good as the first one. Don't be like, this is the worst movie I'll ever watch on the show, because we're definitely going to watch The Room, and that's fucking trash.
But The Room is not as bad, though.
No, it is. I actually watched The Disaster Artist Wednesday, just because I was like, oh, it's on Netflix, I'll check it out. Dude, I really love that movie. The movie's so good.
Oh yeah, it's one of our it's one of my favorites. It's one of the movies that we saw as a group with people.
Yeah, it's one of the cornerstones of our friendship.
But all right, Hunter. Now I want you to read the overview. That was definitely not ripped off from anywhere. It's everything that we all just think of and we all know.
Yep, we
so
make
just
it.
Read that overview.
We make it up with our smart brains.
Oh, but also before we get into that, actually, we'd like to send our thoughts and prayers out to Chadwick Boseman's family. At the time of recording, it's been a couple of days since he's passed. We would have done something on the last episode, but that was recorded before the tragedy.
Mm-hmm. So we were unable to give a proper notification for all of our little listener buds. But it is very unfortunate. He was one of the best actors in recent memory to ever grace fucking screens, man. Like, I don't know. I remember seeing him in 42 and in what's the fucking fuck movie called? Up something? I don't fucking know.
What,
no, Jackie Robinson's 42.
movie?
What's the one where he played Funkadelish Man? Up on that. I think that's called Up on That.
No.
It was super fucking phenomenal. I remember watching it when it first came out back in, oh god, here we go, 2011? 14? I remember watching it. It was good. And then I watched Message from the King, which is fantastic. And of course, Black Panther. He was just like such a remarkable actor, and it sucks that we had to lose him in such a fucking fucked up way. Fuck cancer, man.
Yeah, like Black Panther was the first movie I actually saw by myself in a theater.
Nice.
Because we were hanging out at the mall with the group at round one. I was like, I'm gonna go see a movie. I'll be back. And I saw that movie.
I'm just gonna go see Black Panther. See you guys later. Don't leave me. It's fucking funny.
Yeah, please don't leave. Yeah. So, I thoughts and prayers do go out. It's very unfortunate. Like I did they even film Black Panther 2 yet? Because I know that was in the works.
They were. I think they started filming maybe right before the pandemic hit, but it's very up in the air. It's also up in the air because I thought, if you listen to my podcast, Andrew's Amazing Podcast, # shameless plug, we talked about Chadwick Boseman on our most recent episode. And in that episode, I say, oh, he probably told Marvel about his condition. Something came out the other day where apparently he did not tell Marvel about what was going on with his colon cancer. So Marvel is up in a tussle about what to do. Most people and most comic book readers are pointing towards the actress who played Shuri to become the new Black Panther, because in the comic books, T'Challa either goes up in space or joins the Avengers for a long period of time and he can't protect Wakanda. So he gives like one of the power necklaces to Shuri. So they could easily build a franchise off a female Black Panther, and I think just for cinema that would just be a great stepping off point. But either they do that and make Shuri the new main character, or they just don't make any more Black Panther movies and make all their side characters in other franchises. Like Shuri could jump in on like Falcon and Winter Soldier or something. because they cannot recast
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman. That would be fucked up. Like, I understand recasting Rhodey after one movie.
He definitely...
Chadwick Boseman was in, like, 4. You can't just recast a dude like that.
Yeah, he was a pinnacle. Like, he actually, like, he was a major, like, big movement for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He definitely helped get a lot more eyes on the product.
Black Panther was one of the most influential movies of, I want to say, 2018. And it won a bunch of awards. And Ryan Coogler? Yeah. Ryan Coogler, he pioneered that shit, like, from the ground up with Marvel. So I really hope that the vision isn't too far obscured after what has happened. And I hope that Marvel doesn't go, let's make it Michael B. Jordan and be like, Killmonger didn't die. Because that would be fucking bonkers.
And also down below, guys, in the description of the video version, I'll leave the link to the tribute that the Marvel YouTube channel did. It's very good. But yeah. Let's get into our more not so serious topic. Let's joke about.
All right, I will
Bill
check
and
out
Ted
this
2.
overview. So, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is a 1991 American science fiction comedy film and the feature directorial debut of Peter Hewitt. It is the second film in the Bill and Ted franchise, and then it is the sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from 1989. The budget for Bogus Journey was $20 million, and
okay, so that's why this movie was. So that's why this movie was rough. It wasn't that bad. Directorial debut. Okay.
It had a budget of $20 million and had an overall gross of $38 million. So not a bomb, but not a success at the box office. Now you can complain, Zach.
Well, yeah, because like hey, it was this man's directorial debut. It makes sense for me.
Well, did you
to
watch
say
Dave Franco's directorial debut, The Rental? It was pretty good.
I did not. Well, okay, because times were different. People actually are a little bit more smarter now, and they just go like, "Hey, passion project. Hey, I want to make a sequel to a movie that was like amazing, but like I'm gonna add a bunch
at least they got the same
weird
writers
shit
back
into it, like the goddamn
At least they got the original writers back, so it still had a nice feel with what was going on.
Yes.
With like it felt like a Bill and Ted movie, even if the direction was a little obscured. But that's not anything too bad.
Yes.
Not a lot of notes for this episode because last episode we covered a bunch of the casting and a bunch of the writing mishaps and production stuff. This is just, hey, look, we got it. It's a sequel. So we got a little bit of comic news and a tiny bit of the before Face the Music third film draft. I'll talk about the comic books, and then Zachy boy, you can jump onto the in 2010. All right. So to coincide with the release of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Marvel Comics released a one-shot comic book adaptation of the film, hiring Evan Dorkin to adapt the screenplay and pencil the art. I briefly talked about this in the last episode where DC had the first one and then Marvel got this one. And then Marvel launched the 12-issue series and then jumped into the Boom Studios books, which I have the omnibus of and I forgot to post a picture of. But no, I still have the week. Never mind, we're good. So, like Archie Goodwin's adaptation of the first Star Wars film to comic, Dorkin worked from the original script, which included many deleted scenes, such as the Fears from Hell, attempting to block Bill and Ted from the concert, and an evil Bill and Ted killing Bill and Ted before they remind the Reaper that they are owed lives from beating him so many times. Death was portrayed as an archetypal skeletal figure. So we got a different take on what Death looked like in the comic book, and then we also got the evil Bill and Ted robots were supposed to come back and kill Bill and Ted again before Death was able to bring them back. And then I don't know how that was going to continue because I haven't read it, but I'll probably look it up later.
Yeah.
Just to see like what happened with that original scripting. So yeah, that was the comic book. That's one bit of note that we have. Zach, do you want to read the other bit of note that we have?
In 2010, Reeves indicated that
Yeah, those are the writers.
so Matheson and Solman were working on the script for the third film, confirming in April 2011 that a draft was completed. Winter said in March of 2012 that he and Reeves both liked the finished script, which revisited the two characters after changes of the past 20 years later. Despite the script being finished and satisfied by both parties,
and I
no
think this is
specific
because
film dates were given.
John Wick was about
That's
like
at
he was
least-
filming. Oh yeah, they had something.
That's
back
reassuring,
together.
though.
And we kind of got the original script here. It's instead of 20 years later,
Yeah.
it's 30 years later though. And then but the cool thing about that was from what we know of the third movie, it is still basically going to be what he said, where it's the two characters revisiting each other and fixing stuff. But I think that it didn't ever get put into full power because John Wick started filming around 2012, the first one, and then Keanu Reeves blew up.
Said with that, just like it's overall, it is a very like a good thing to hear that both Alex and Keanu liked it, and that they loved the script. That's a very good thing, because at least it doesn't go like, oh hey, we just did this for the hell of it, and our actors don't know.
Yeah,
dick
it's
about
good
the
when the
script.
actors are actually like drawn to
Because
the
that only
project rather
shows
than the writers and directors being like, this is so good, and then the
Yeah.
actors get a hold of it and they're like, this is dog shit. Hey man, Last
I
Jedi
don't
was
like
okay.
Last Jedi.
I'm not defending it. I'm saying it was okay.
Like I said, I thought it was okay
We'll have
too, but I
our
think
own
the
Star
script
Wars.
was
Probably
shit.
around May, we'll have like the Star Wars marathon. So be prepared for that.
Yes.
So on to our last
Yeah.
bit of note, because not a lot, like I said before. So on the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, 55% of 51 critics gave Bogus Journey a positive review, with an average rating of 5.95 out of 10. The website's critics' consensus reads, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey has the same stars and cheerfully wacky sense of humor as its predecessor, but they prove a far less effective combination the second time around. And I feel that, second verse, same as the first, it doesn't always work as well as you think it's going to. Like, don't get me wrong, there can be upgrades. First Avenger, Winter Soldier, huge improvement. Avengers 3, and then Avengers 3. Avengers Age of Ultron, sequel. Avengers Infinity War, fucking phenomenal. I didn't want to say the first one and then Age of Ultron because not a lot of people agree with that. But there are upgrades to films that you can get, like Predator 1 and Predator 2, Die Hard 1 and Die Hard 2, but I wouldn't say upgrade, I would say adjacent goodness, if that makes sense. This, unfortunately, does not follow the same path as those other films. It is not terrible, but it is not as good as the originals, in my opinion. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah. I can agree. A lot of times sequels aren't that good.
It's all
I kind of
good.
just drifted off to my own head there for a moment.
Metacritic
Who
assigned the
cares?
film
Like,
a weighted average
cares?
score of 60 out of 100 based on 10 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled on CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of a B+ on an A+ to F scale. I would agree with that, a B+. I think it's a solid 7. We'll get to my review later. I think it's a solid 7.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of the same sense of humor that the original one had, but it definitely wasn't as exciting and as intriguing as the other one. Don't get me wrong, I like the evil robots. I like Death's introduction, and I liked it being more about the music rather than more about time travel. But at the same time, I feel like it's just missing something, and I don't think it's the director. It definitely didn't help that they had to change directors, but I don't think it's the director's fault that this movie didn't hold up. Do you have any say on that?
Listen, I only point out I only point out my things because it is like I make the joke saying it is his directorial debut. Like most of the times when it's someone's very first film, it's not going to be as spectacular as they would want it to be. And also, like, definitely filling in shoes from what was, like, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which was, like, it's up there with a very, like, timeless film. Like, you can't say timeless, it has some
and then in this film, they
so
do it
good
twice.
For today's time escape, but...
So, yeah, super fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like, overall, I see it as, like, it is, a standpoint in which that, it's very hard to fill in shoes. Like, hell, if they were to do, say, like, going back to our first episode, if they were to do another Breakfast Club, they would really have to, like study a John Hughes, John Hughes work to capture that same...
You need to get the same feel, but you need to have a different identity. And I feel like this film didn't have a different identity. This film was like, let's be the same as the first one, but instead of time travel, they die.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Def's inclusion. Def is probably one of my favorite characters outside of
Rufus.
George Carlin's character as Rufus. It's still I love the scene of them playing board games.
Battleship.
Amazing.
So fucking stupid. Yeah, 507.
That's
so good. They play fucking Twister, and they play. I wish they played Jenga, but they didn't. I would have loved to see them play Jenga.
They played Battleship, Clue, Twister.
Yeah, they played one more.
But
I don't. I really thought they were gonna make him skateboard for some reason.
Imagine if this was in like today's timeline and they just had him play.
No, they would make him play Fortnite.
Flames on Expert.
It would be Guitar Hero, then it would be Fortnite, and then it would be Rock'em Sock'em.
No, have him play Guitar Hero. Yeah, just do the Fire and Flames on Expert. Have fun with that death.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you can play the bass. Alright, but getting into our lovely plot, the music of Bill and Ted's band, Wild Stallion, has created a utopian future society in the year 2691. Former gym teacher turned terrorist. I thought this was Chuck Norris for a second, but I had to reread it in my head. Chuck D. Loomis attacks the Bill and Ted University and steals the time-traveling phone booth instead to alter the history of what is considered to be a foolish and was that frivolous society. Thank you. I'm illiterate. By sending evil robot replicas of Bill and Ted back to the late 20th century to prevent the originals from winning the San Dimas Battle of the Bands. Rufus attempts to stop D. Loomis by seemingly becoming lost in the
This opening scene's really weird, because at first I didn't think I was watching the same movie. Because I was like, what the fuck did I just click on? I'm seeing people in ugly, weird 80s colored highlighter costumes made of like foam, and they're getting taught this class by Rufus, and then these terrorists all of a sudden just fucking show up with guns and hold everybody hostage. They steal the phone, send evil Bill and Ted back. It's just, it's ridiculous.
And might I have like an ongoing?
Yeah, I don't know why the
Bill
fuck
and Ted is
they kept trying to kill cats, but yeah, that was a big thing in the movie. Dude, there's a cat right there. Let's kill it.
I do like the callback of them landing in front of the Circle K. That's a good callback. But yeah, like I said, these movies don't age well. I'm excited to see Face the Music just to see how they
I can't wait to watch that next week. It's gonna be fucking sick.
So,
I'm probably gonna watch it
Well, by next week, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow.
One day or something. Several years after their adventure through time, Wild Stallions is auditioning for an upcoming Battle of the Bands. Though Bill and Ted's current girlfriends and former 15th century princesses Joanna and Elizabeth have become skilled musicians, Bill and Ted are still inept. Despite this, the organizer, Miss Wardrobe, Miss Wardrobe, assures them a slot in the contest as the final act. Following a party, Bill and Ted propose to Joanna and Elizabeth right as the evil robots arrive from the future. We get this cool scene where where Joanna and Elizabeth drive away, and then we get a phone call saying, "We never want to see you again. You suck." But it's just evil Bill doing, an impression, and then the robots show up at the apartment complex that they now live in, and do the whole "All right, what number am I holding up behind my back? 3!" And they do the whole thing, "Oh, you are us. Awesome." But they're just being dickheads. And then, after luring the real Bill and Ted away to Venezuela rocks and killing them by throwing the other off the side of a cliff, the robots spit on them and begin working to ruin the duo's eventual fame along with their relationships with their fiancés by trying to have sex with them, and it was uncomfortable.
Yeah. Another thing I like to mention, before they went to the desert, they were watching Star Trek, and they had the same.
Yeah, they went to the same rocks.
Formation of rocks, the same cliff.
Yeah.
That they saw. That was that's a nice touch.
When I saw it, I was like, "Why are they showing that episode of Star Trek?" And then they walk up the rocks, and I'm like, "Oh, that's why they were showing it. That's funny."
It's a nice little touches.
All right, continuing on with the plot, Zachary.
Yeah. In the afterlife, Bill and Ted's souls are met by Death. God, this character is amazing. Who says they may challenge him in a game,
which I doubt. Which I so doubt.
Souls,
how has no one ever beaten Death?
Nobody has
and
ever
these fucking slackers, not stoners, according to Keanu Reeves, illiterate musicians managed to beat Death in games. I know they're beating him in stupid fucking children's board games, but I don't understand how nobody beat Death until these two came along. I understand it's MacGuffin plot, Mary Sue bullshit, but come on. It was weird. No one ever beats me, and they fucking... Ugh.
Yeah. And they give...
What is that from? Why do they call it a Melvin?
They escape Death by giving him a Melvin.
I think it might have been from an old TV show or movie back in the day where they
have no clue.
Wedgie a kid named Melvin in a movie, and then that's where they got it from, but I don't know. Remember...
They are unsuccessful at alerting
Hey, I'm totally Ted's dad.
Ted's father. This was a funny scene. So,
it seems
I like
how,
it,
but
they escape Death, but can't Death teleport?
Yeah, but
though?
maybe he doesn't know where they went because he teleported to their bodies. So
this
it makes
makes
sense
no
that he knows where their bodies are, but he doesn't know where their spirits ran off to. So I guess that makes sense in a way.
Yeah. So, Bill and Ted possess... Well, Ted possesses his father. Bill possesses the deputy, or, the sheriff. Eventually, they eventually get cast down into hell at a seance held by, Missy. I was confused, because, she was in so many different scenes. It's hard to keep track of where Missy is at all times.
And I think it's weird.
In so many different keep her in one location. It was confusing. Yeah. Tormented by Satan and forced to face their own fears, the duo realize that their only escape is to take Death's offer, who appears and allows them to choose a game. Death is dismayed. Bill and Ted select modern games like Battleship, Clue, Electric Football, and Twister. That's what it was. Okay. Death is beaten every time, so in the end, he reluctantly admits defeat and places himself. This is a fun little chunk of scenes
where we get to see some ghost shenanigans from Bill and Ted. And then we see
why didn't
a down blouse shot of Missy because, of course, and then and then we get to see them go get cast down into hell. And then Satan's just this dude standing there, arms crossed, and he's like, "Fuck you!" And then he makes them face their fears in a Friday the 13th style like dungeon area. Yeah, boiler room kind of thing. Yeah, which was kind of cool. And then the nightmares are them young,
boiler room
and
nightmare type thing,
being tortured by being like Ted gets tortured because he eats chocolate that was meant for Deacon, even though Deacon's not in the movie. And then Bill gets tortured because Grandma wants kisses. And she's gross.
Where's
she's
Deacon?
Gross.
So can we talk about how
that was real?
He did play his own, like, he played his
I could not tell. I couldn't. That's funny.
That, like, yes, you can tell. So
Next time
if you look at his eyes and overall, like, and facial structure, you can definitely tell. I was gonna make that a part of my rating, but I'm like, nah. Not gonna do that.
Ugh. All right, continuing on with the plot. Realizing they need to locate the smartest person in the universe to help
now it's up to you
robots
now.
to counter Denomolus's evil robots. Death escorts Bill and Ted to heaven, where they mug some wise men, which just look like farmers. They get up to heaven, fucking mug people, and then Death asks if he looks good in the dress, which was funny. And then they go up to heaven, explain to all their sins, and ask God for help. He gives them this weird little, like, platform, and he's directed to an alien duo named Station, who readily agrees to help the group. On the eve of the Battle of the Bands, Bill and Ted return to the mortal world and race to the concert as Station constructs benevolent robot versions of themselves from supplies picked up at a hardware store. Elsewhere, evil Bill and Ted abduct Joanna and Elizabeth, and them high above the stage at the Battle of the Bands, intending to drink the finale and fucking murder them. We're gonna totally kill the babes! It's fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
This scene was pretty good, where we get to see Station and them going shopping, and then Station forms into one mega station.
Babes.
And then they build, like, so you know what's weird about Station? Okay, so hear me out. He's two in heaven.
Another reason why
they drop down to Earth. He's two right there. Ready? Then when they're in the parking lot, they fuse into one station. But then when they're in the car, he's two stations again.
Yes.
Like they had a scene with Big Station, and they just didn't use it. And then you think, oh man, Station can turn into a giant, so he'll probably help them in the final fight. Nah, dude, the Stations just sit there and play the fucking bongos.
No, remember, so Station, like, so two stations.
Yeah, but that's not a plot point, though. It's not like a thing.
Ted say, hey,
like,
Station, you got a nice ass.
He's two robots making him in the fucking whatever.
Oh, but you also forgot to mention when they're shopping.
Hear that.
Death walks past the guy smoke, and he goes, "I'll see you real soon."
Yeah.
That's also is very good coming from, like, a 90s movie where really, like, no one really cared about anti-smoking campaigns. That's, like, a funny little thing, a nice little nod. Bill and Ted arrive just as the evil robots take the stage.
How?
The
one thing I hate. How?
Defeat their evil counterparts, and Joanne and Elizabeth are How?
You know, I didn't pick up that.
Well, like, clearly they're Rock'em Sock'em robots that just punched their heads off, and that was it. Remember, these robots were made. these robots were made from pretty much PVC piping.
I didn't realize that they were made to look like Rock'em Sock'em robots. Now that you say that, it's fucking hilarious that they punch their heads off.
The counterparts.
It's still stupid, but it's funny. Oh no, but they do look like Rock'em Sock'em robots.
I just said that as a joke though, but yeah. Yeah. Joanne and Elizabeth are lowered by station before their ropes break. The Loomis, I'm gonna keep on calling him D. Loomis, because fuck it. Appears in a time booth prepared to kill Bill and Ted himself, overriding the broadcast. Equipment to send live feed of their
nope, but it's okay because he's from the future.
Across the entire planet. That's not how things work. That's Bill and Ted deduce that they can go back in time following the encounter to arrange events for D. Loomis to be captured in the present. Through D. Loomis' attempts to do the same, Bill and Ted gain the upper hand by explaining that it is only the winners who can go back. After D. Loomis is distracted by death and arrested by Ted's father,
that was weird.
Ms. Bordeaux reveals herself to be disguised as Rufus, who urges them to play. But not before. This was
kind of cool that they did like a little callback to, hey, we'll just set stuff up in the future. We'll drop a cage. And then he's like, but I'll do the same. I have a key. And then he's like, yeah, but only the winners get to do that. So we set up the key, thinking you'd escape, and then capture you again. And I'm like, I mean, I guess the logic works, and it's funny that they just like beat this dude by being a fucking prick. But that was kind of cool. Yes. And then the whole reveal of Wardrow as Rufus just comes out of fucking nowhere. She starts taking off her clothes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this movie about to turn into? And then it's revealed to be George Carlin. Yeah, he's like, yeah, take it off, baby. And I'm like, what is this going to turn into? And then it's Rufus, and I'm like,
saying,
oh, so that's why Rufus, that's why they got into the Battle of the Bands, because he goes, yeah, who else would let you into this contest? You guys suck. But it was just really weird how Rufus was like, oh, he didn't, because the evil Bill and Ted robot's like, oh no, he didn't make it. He must have lost in the circuits of time. Yeah. He's like, no, apparently he didn't, because he showed up like way before the evil robots did as a woman. And I was like, okay. I think George Carlin was filming a movie at the same time, so he wasn't able to really make a big appearance. So they used him where they could.
Somehow.
So, back to the plot. Acknowledging that they are still terrible musicians, Bill and Ted decide to use their time booth and immediately return to the auditorium with their families, which now include Little Bill and Little Ted, after spending 16 months of intense guitar training along with a 2-week honeymoon. By death, the stations, and the good robots on stage, the Wild Stallions perform a stunning rock ballad as the worldwide broadcast sent by Denomalus continues, broadcasting their music across the globe and creating harmony. Following their win at the Battle of the Bands, Wild Stallions encounter many perks of fame that help them fulfill their destinies and create their utopian society with their music, eventually taking their act to Mars. This is like fucking, it's a cool little end credit thing where the credits start to roll and it's like, they do this. It's like, Death leave the band to do solo album. Solo album sucks. Death rejoins Wild Stallions. It was really cool to see that. And it was also, I found it funny that when they get to travel forward in time to do the 2-week honeymoon, they named their kids after each other, which I thought was fucking funny. I hope that comes into play in the next film. I don't think they have daughters.
But also, like, this doesn't make
they do have daughters.
Isn't
Bill
like in
is
3
Bill
they
can
have
technically
daughters?
be a girl's name with Billy, like Billie Eilish, and then Ted is gonna be Theodora, and they call her Ted. I don't know, dude. It's not really explained. They don't say my son. Ted? They just say this is little Bill and this is little Ted. They don't really explain the genders, so.
Because
I thought those girls were
because
the princesses.
It is clear
just,
in Face
different
Music
actresses.
have
Because I don't know how well or how poorly.
It is very clear.
princesses aged. I didn't know they were the children. So now that I know that, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll fucking see.
Oh no, they are. Cause in one of the trailers they go like, our dads are like.
I actually tried to avoid
travelers.
all trailers just so I can go in blind. I've only seen
and
like,
they
the
sound
teaser
like
trailer.
them too, but girls.
I've seen the teaser trailer. Where
Oh
it's like,
man,
it's like be excellent. And it's like that little montage, but I haven't seen anything else. That's why I didn't think they were.
I watched
the kids.
one
I thought they were
trailer.
Princess.
That's
It's just modernized. Anyway, that's still pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I watched just one trailer, and that was the only trailer I watched.
Yeah.
And that's all I do. And besides the one that appear on TV, where yeah, actually, you'll see when we watch. I'll explain it then. All right, now on to our ratings. I'm gonna get my rating first, cause. So as our followers on here, our very small followers know that we like to give like ratings that involved the film. I'm giving this 6 nightmare-fueled
like
stations out of 10. God, those are so fucking
Crackhead Muppets. That's definitely a thing somewhere.
It's like watching a Muppet.
Yeah, so what is your overall feelings towards this film? Give me like a little review recap.
Yeah. I hear
Face the Music is actually really fucking good, so I don't think 2 is going to be better than the first.
It all depends. Will it be better than Face the Music? Who knows?
Exactly. Because we are the ultimate reviewers. Our word is law.
Hey, that's up for us to decide.
Hey man, gotta start off slow. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, definitely. To our 4 subscribers and 5 listeners. Hell yeah.
And we'll get it.
Yep, we definitely need that one gem to get us over. Who knows? Maybe we'll be Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah, I want to do a topical movie too, but we're gonna do 2 in a row, so that'll be fun.
That's why I moved our
if you can
production
find a
schedule
good
around.
copy.
I want us to get like a topical movie.
Force you to do anything, because then we'll just switch it up. Probably switch it, maybe the old version of it.
Yes,
the classic.
We are. All right, now give your rating, Hunter.
So, my rating is 7 Melvins to death out of 10. I thought this movie wasn't as good as the original, but it still had its own merits. It's got a fun story with fun new characters that are added into the mythos. We got more, not that much personality out of the princesses, but much more than we originally had. And it's cool to see how they're adapting to, quote unquote, current day back in 1991. And Bill and Ted's relationship hasn't really changed much. They're still best friends. They're still stupid idiots. But they get the job done with their pure of hearts and fucking stoner wits, even though they're not stoners. Yeah. No matter how stonerish their apartment looks. The robots were kind of funny. I liked how they kept like pulling up their shirts and revealing their abs and then ripping their chests open. Hey man, it's a one bedroom. You gotta do what you gotta do.
They have an apartment. They have an apartment, but yet they share a room with each other.
It was really cool to see like the introduction of Death and how he plays a role in this and how he's going to play a role in the comic books.
That's a big one bedroom.
New movie. And I don't know, it breath of fresh air into the franchise with new characters speaking. I wouldn't say it's breath of fresh air writing-wise or direction-wise, but seeing the characters flourish in the already pre-established world was kind of cool. It sucks that we lost a lot of the side characters that made the other movie fun, like all the time-traveling people. I think that's what made the movie really stand out, because we got like the Napoleon scenes, we get the scenes with Socrates and Billy the Kid interacting with a bunch of people in the mall. In this movie, we just get Death be awkward in front of everybody in heaven. Yes. Like, that's cool, I guess. And we really had no, like, I mean, to be fair, the budget is a lot smaller than the original. I think it's like cut in half from the original one. Don't quote me on that. But so they had like less actors to work with, and they had less stuff to deal with. So
He
you know,
apologizes to God.
But you know, I definitely like this film. So
Yes, I think so.
oh yeah, dude, I kept
But
seeing
hey,
them.
at least if you think about it, like the overall like I think like the stunt doubles for Bill and Ted got a lot of screen time. Because I
When they were all together. Oh yeah, you can see Keanu's face looking
they got a lot
very
of screen
different.
time because whenever they did the faraway shots of evil Bill and
I was
Ted
like,
and
I was like, that's not Keanu.
and good Bill and Ted,
Keanu's got a pointy
you
face.
definitely tell it was the stunt doubles. At least they got they have a lot of screen time.
It's exciting for those guys.
Oh yeah, him looking like very round versus his chiseled physique. Hey,
You opened it.
it's good for them.
That's how the rules work.
At least they kind of get more stuff to do so. Yeah. All right, now time to bring this on home. I'm gonna do our outro because I like doing the intros and outros. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at Box Office Losers and Twitter at Box Losers. We're still trying to work on that. Will we get it fixed? Probably not. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review on wherever we are, because we are all over the podcast scene nowadays, thanks to Anchor. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Dark Shadows 8. I'm also a contributor for the Sports Hit List.
Yeah, so you can follow me on
Shameless plug for
Instagram
them.
and Twitter
They
at
have been giving me a
ScruffyLoopsMan, and you can also follow my
that most
podcast,
people
Andrew's
wouldn't
Amazing
give a kid to
Podcast,
do.
which I shamelessly plugged prior.
Now, Hunter, give your
at
shameless
Andrew's Amazing
plugs for
Podcast on
everything
Instagram.
that you do, because you do.
And then I have a
lot more
PlayStation
than I do.
podcast that comes out every Tuesday called Pound That Button. It is hosted by people who play PlayStation, me and my two buddies. So definitely check that out. This week we're covering games as a service and talking about. I'm going to be talking about Avengers on this week's episode. So be on the lookout for that. Next week for this show, we are going to be covering Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you couldn't figure that one out. So yeah.
Yep.
Zach, bring us on home with the most excellent riff.
There'd be cue the proper guitar riff. Also, I'm gonna be doing some gameplay on the From Under the Ring podcast stuff, so follow me there because that'll be down below as well.
Oh, that's gonna be sick. Cool.
Because I have OBS and everything.
All right,
so
guys.
yeah. All right, guys.
Peace.
Thank you all for listening. We do really appreciate it. And be excellent to each other.
Always. Party on.
Yeah.
Catch you later, cop dudes! Oh yeah, catch you later.